Virginia International Raceway, 7 years after the last visit by the Pirelli World Challenge, is about to wrap up its first visit back here as part of the Nissan Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix at VIR. I'm Greg Creamer, joined by Jeff Lepper. Kurt Hansen will be down trackside as we get ready to go. Thank you again for joining us here on our international global web feed. We surely appreciate it. And, of course, for this race, you'll be eavesdropping, as always, as we start to build our CBS Sports Network coverage of what should be a spectacular, if it's based on what we saw yesterday, Jeff, Pirelli World Challenge Touring Car Round 2 of the 2017 championship. Over 50 entries, 3 different classes, and it was just great racing in every one of them.
Yeah, when you see as many cars that we have here, there was too many stories to even talk about. That's how great the racing was. And it was marred through the whole field with TC, TCA, TCB. Great battles. It talks about how great this balanced performance is. A lot of great new platforms coming into the series and expanding. We talk about that BMW M235i Racing. We have that brand new Mazda Global MX-5 Cup car as well in the TCA category.
Yeah, let's not forget that Audi. That has been just superb as well. 4 of them here, 15 of the BMWs. Always a huge turnout from the Mazda crowd. And I think one of the big pieces of news there is the fact that they're getting some great manufacturer support. You can't have factory teams, but they're getting a lot of support from the manufacturers, and that's enticing a number of new teams and drivers to get involved in the championship. Big growth in touring car in particular,
especially in touring car. We see that we're over 33 cars set here to take the green flag, led by your really brand new car with SAC Racing. Anthony Gerasi's there on the pole. He wasn't going to run that car. He was going to go back to his old Pirelli World Challenge touring car Mazda MX-5 that he won at Line Rock last year when they did in home. But the team with the other Audi RS3 LMSs that are here had enough parts to give them. There's like a special fuel probe to even put fuel in the car, and you have to have the air jack wand to even jack the car up. And the SAC Racing team took delivery of that car last week. Race week, basically, and brought it out here to have it on display. They decided, you know what, there's enough people here. Audi wants us to drive it. We're going to go ahead and run it. What a great reward starting on pole today.
Boy, absolutely. And keeping in mind that it was another of the Audi RS3 LMSs in its debut, getting the win in the hands of Paul Holton. Interesting story there. As we had talked about it during the race, it was so warm and humid yesterday. Then they had that long red flag stoppage, and not only the cars, but the drivers get a bit heat-soaked with no airs moving through them, and a little bit of heat exhaustion hit Paul Holton, and he needed some help at the end of the race, but he made it to the end of the race, and he did so very quickly.
He really did, and I talked to him earlier this morning, and he said, yeah, a lot of it was my fault. I ate a pizza literally 30 minutes before my race. So he's really, with team owner Carl Thompson there at C360R, they've been hydrating all day on Paul, making sure that's okay. And he actually hurt his leg a little bit, walking around with a little bit of a limp from an earlier incident that he had when the car backed into the wall. So that team, yes, they got the win, but it hasn't been without adversity.
Yeah, but they overcame it, and that's a good thing. And that's the important part of it. In the touring car A division, just some fabulous racing there. Matt Fastenach, problem early in the race, got knocked way to the back of his class, and just a tremendous fight back to get the win.
Yeah, drove all the way from really getting almost in the tire wall.
Yeah.
And the TCA, that I got to think, Greg, was the best race with Elevon Goulart. You had Dean Copeland, Eric Powell, all in that mix. And great qualifying time from Sarah Montgomery coming into Pirelli World Challenge, the best of the non-Miatas, so to speak.
Yeah, and she got a top 5 finish in her debut. Not too bad. Just a great addition to the championship, no question. And in touring car B, well, we see what we always see. Just some absolutely superb racing. And another comeback story. Yeah, he didn't have as many cars to get to, but Jake Pipal, after getting kind of ushered off the track, went way to the back. Red flag helped, bunched everybody up, and he was able to come back and get a good second place. But Kanan O'Connell, I really think Kanan was trying real hard to play the good teammate to P.J. Gronke, but I think P.J. just driven the Pirellis off that car just a little bit, and Kanan finally said, look, I got a much quicker car here, and if I don't go, we're both going to get passed. And away he went. And Johnny O'Connell's son, I think we now stop saying that because he's a Pirelli World Challenge winner in his own right.
Yeah, he's Kanan O'Connell. We can just call him right that, and he's related to that guy that drives the GT car maybe or something like that. I think that's how we'll do it. But his own driver there. And he had a big off there in 17. You saw him. You mentioned that going through that dirt. putting that drift experience there at the Bob Bondurant High Performance Driving School to the test in that Tech Sport Racing Chevy Sonic.
And speaking of big offs, we have to address, I think, the huge off that Jason Fichter had. First of all, he's fine, but that car, it suffered a wild, wild ride.
Yeah, we did talk about it on the broadcast when we saw the car go by on the back of the record there, that right rear window was still good.
Yeah.
So there is something salvageable in the car, but that's really about it. Huge incident for that young man. They did take him to the hospital in his street car. He didn't have to no ambulance, no transport. They did an X-ray, they did a CAT scan, a little bump on the leg. His tailbone was complaining of hurting. He's walking around the paddock now, talking to everybody, really answering all the questions about how wicked that ride really was.
Well, it speaks very highly of the safety requirements that Pirelli World Challenge has for every category of car that runs here to come through something like that pretty much unscathed. Impressive stuff. Look there, that's the dip that's at the end of what we call Madison Avenue here, this long back straight that then drops off to the right of the screen. It's a little bend to the left, so you're braking, turning, setting up, and then you just drop off the face of the earth, 100-foot drop down to the last few corners through Hogpen and onto the front straight. The interesting thing here, and we've harped about it a lot, but it remains a factor. All the weather we had earlier with the rain, even though we haven't had it for a couple of days, the ground is saturated. If you get off this track, nothing slows you down until you hit something.
And I got to think that's what happened with Jason Fichter there with that soft dirt that was wet. The car just dug in, whether it was the wheel or the front splitter, and that just pivoted him around. So you got to be very careful here. The nature of this track as well, we mentioned that in our pre-race there, is that it slopes off on these runoff areas. You can't even turn back on. So if you're going to fight it and battle it, you got to keep the tires on the asphalt here at Virginia International Raceway.
How about this section of track? This is the Climbing S's, one of the signature sections of track here. You raced here just a few weeks ago. It was an eye-opening experience, I'd imagine, to go through there as fast as you could the first time.
You really could. 130 miles an hour on the data. The data from the Honda Accord was about 120 in that crash.
Yeah, pretty impressive stuff. So with that, let's get down to the front of the grid and get this second round of the 2017 Touring Car Championship season underway. Kurt Hansen.
Drivers, start your engines.
All right, always nice to have part of the broadcast team able to give that special command. What an honor for Kurt. And we are getting ready to go racing here at Virginia International Raceway. And there is your front row pair of those beautiful new Audi RS3 LMSs. And everybody else, and actually there's another one right there, Jason Kupal, in the fourth qualifying spot as well. So they're well represented up in the front, aren't they?
Yeah, JT's 16 years old with that Berg Racing. Got Redcom SLS we see with John Weisberg, who had a motor failure yesterday. Hopefully they get that car repaired and he can make back in this field. But also with John Allen, his teammate. So like we mentioned about those Audi RS3 LMSs, 4 of them taking the green here.
All right, and time now for our Porsche race analysis. This track, of course, 3.27 miles in length, Jeff, 17 turns. I'm not sure there isn't any of them that's not significant. And, of course, today a little bit cooler than it was yesterday, and that's going to be a nice help for these drivers, a little bit of a breeze as well. And 40 minutes of racing with a field of over 50 cars. It's going to be something very special.
Yeah, and then thank God for the long straightaways when we talk about Madison, that front stretch, because you're holding your breath everywhere else on this track.
There is our Cadillac ATSV pace car. Again, a great partnership with our friends at Cadillac, and we sure appreciate them providing these beautiful vehicles. And while the cars are out on their installation lap, we're going to step away for just a moment. When we come back, we are going to see our first standing start of the 2017 season for the touring cars. dead stop on the race. Yeah, he's moving again now, but it just parked. He what? That's what it is. Okay. Well, that may have been Grahovic then, because it was the number 2. Okay, so this is wrong then. Okay. I'm just going to change the numbers here. Is Gino running a different car? Okay, that's weird. Okay. Yeah, that's what it was, yeah. Yep. Yep. Oh, I'm sure, yeah. Well, I got measured. Apparently that's just for touring car, though. When I was talking to him, I was like, yeah, just for touring car. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Traders. Yep. Welcome back, everybody, to the Nissan Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix at VIR. Field coming around through that final sequence of corners, that 100-foot-plus plummet down the hill through the roller coaster through this final turn called Hogpen, and they will take up station for the standing start. Here is a look at our quad box featuring some remarkable Replay XD cameras that just provide some amazing high-quality images. There's a number of them on board the cars. Here's a sampling of what you'll be able to enjoy, and the field comes up here. It's going to be interesting, I think, here, Jeff, because our front row, in fact, first, second, and fourth, front-wheel drive cars, and then you've got a brace of rear-wheel drive cars surrounding it here, and it's a standing start.
Yeah, I think Justin Raphael's going to be here in the catbird seat, and then Nick Whitmer behind him, and that Porsche Cayman, a Cody Ellsworth, if he can get a good start with the weight over those rear tires of that Porsche Cayman, it's going to be a fun start here. But remember, launch control, that big handbrake in these Audi RS3 LMS cars, so they can get some heat in those rear tires and those rear brakes with the hand control. Here's a great shot from this standing start.
That looks great. All right, now, as always, it is when the lights go out that we go racing. But look at the size of this field, Jeff. I mean, they're still coming out of Hogpen. They haven't even all got onto the front straight yet. So those cars that are sitting up at the front just have a long wait before everybody gets settled.
Yeah, over 50 cars, but we try to leave a gap between the TC, the TCA, and the TCB. So 61 positions that will be on this start here. So wrapping all the way around the corner there and out of turn number 17.
And that means it's going to be interesting. They're going to be relying very much on the call from the radio when those lights go out to launch here. And then this field funnels into a very, very technical section of the track. The horseshoe, decreasing radius. And once you exit that turn, you get into another decreasing radius section of corners. And it's imperative that you are mindful of who's around you and give them a little bit of room, because if you don't, you could end up out of the race along with your competitors.
Waiting for the all clear. Once again, once the lights go on, they go out, we go racing here for 40 minutes of TC action.
Round 2 of the championship. Boy, that just fills up that entire front straight. Looking forward to this one. They're just working and clearing the grid at the back. Couple of cars trying to find their position. And we'll be able to get going here. There you see some of the Pirelli World Challenge officials. And the lights are in the yellow mode. You see them in yellow mode there. About center screen, just to the left of center screen, you can see one of the light boards. And what happens is they will flash red, and then we go racing as soon as they go out. We're just waiting for the high sign from the back of the grid. All right, sounds like we're up on the revs, and we're racing here at Virginia International Raceway. And you called it. Look at the launch, Jeff. Owen Whitmer down to the inside, and wow, swamped.
Yeah, Justin Raphael there on the outside, Whitmer down to the inside. There's nowhere to be found for Gerasi as he's all the way back there in 4th place. Great run from Gregory Leafouge as well, up to 2nd place, starting in 6th.
Yeah, Leafouge, that was a great start for Greg Leafouge. And, of course, he had a pretty impressive run yesterday. Very solid 2nd place finish. But Nick Whitmer jumps to the front. And, of course, this is a brand new program for Nick in the new ST Racing, Samantha Tan Racing BMW. And he's been very impressive. A good run yesterday and a great start today.
Yeah, great run from Tony Rivera up to 6th place in that Nissan 370Z. Good run from him. That car's got the speed here. He just needs a little bit of luck.
Yeah, started in 11th spot. So did he nail that start? Just some fantastic stuff. And Cody Ellsworth right there in the 5th spot. And Jeff, he was quick yesterday, but had a problem late in the race.
Had a little tire going down. It had a small pinhole. And ultimately, with that red flag, that cost him with that air coming out. And eventually just went totally flat during the race. If we had not had that red flag, he might have finished there. As Mason Felipe bouncing all the way down there through the S's here into Oak Tree.
Yeah, he got it a little squirrely going in, and then it got a little wiggly on the way out. I think we had another car that exited stage right. I saw a yellow flag flying up into the top of Oak Tree. Oh, and there it is.
Justin Raphael, the guy that started 3rd place. Problems there for his BMW. We'll see if he can get it back underway. Another one of those classic BMW expanding to a 4-car team now.
Yeah, and he had a great start and was right up in this lead group, just, I think, right behind these two, leading that 2nd group of cars. These two have already made a breakaway, Jeff.
Yeah, we're about 10 car lengths between them and 3rd place right now, and we can't even see him on the screen. That is Paul Holton in that C360R Audi RS3 LMS there, and the race winner yesterday. Cody Ellsworth up to 4th now, so I think everybody's going to get slotted in here, started getting in their rhythms, but Gregory Leafouge still pressuring Nick Whitmer here at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, showing the nose, and I'll tell you what, it was an interesting thing here because Whitmer realized he couldn't move over. That would have been in reaction to what Leafouge had done, and that would be considered a block. And so Whitmer just decided to stay where he was, but take it a little deeper into turn 1. And now you see him float out just a little bit, but able to deal with it. Oh, no, the number 40 down into the pits. Steve Coley, who had a DNF, didn't get it finished yesterday. This is actually not in the pits, is it? It's on that long run down the straight. He's got damage to the right rear of that car. Or is it right front?
Yeah, it looks like right front, and it might even be the right rear as well. So big damage there. As Leafouge down to the inside through turn number 4.
Big move. Nice job there. We saw Whitmer run a wide line through 3 into 4 the last lap, but I think Leafouge said if he does it again, I'm going to try and take advantage of it. Done. However, I think that killed a little bit of both of their momentum because Holton now all over the back of him, and Ellsworth with the off by Justin Raphael is now up into 4th.
And back up to 5th now. Tony Rivera from that 11th starting place picked up 6 positions on the first lap. And there's John Weisberg pulling off once again. Had a blown motor yesterday as we go back to our TCA leaders.
Yeah, problematic day or weekend certainly for him. You know, that TCA battle coming up right behind that the BMW. There it is, and once again into the lead early. It's Elliman Goulart. Even though Matt Fastnot had the pole, Goulart just seems intent on leading opening laps. It doesn't matter where he starts. By the end of the lap, he's in front.
I think he really likes to set the pace in that SCDA car. He wants to be able to say, this is the pace that we're going to run. But he's getting into the back of our touring car field there as the battle back into the front here with Leafouge and Nick Whitmer to the inside. Down here coming in through the roller coaster and in through Hogpin.
Boy, that was a great move by Whitmer to set that up. And there's the 78 that is pulled off way down in the roller coaster area. That obviously happened last lap when that car pulled off. Jeff Rika, who also had a tough day yesterday. And there was a yellow flag there, so nobody could make any passes. And now they can go back to racing.
Yeah, I think full course yellow
full
here.
Full course
yep.
now, yep.
Yeah, too many cars scattered around this field. John Weisberg off. Had to change a motor overnight, and that car literally put a hole in the side of that block of his Mazda MX-5 and touring car. So unfortunate for him, you see him stop there on the track.
As you said, I think we got cars off in 3 different locations, and the officials wisely say, nope, we got to take care of that. And so the full course caution is out. We're going to step away, but don't go anywhere. There's a lot more of some great touring car racing yet to come.
Got our Cadillac ATS-V pace car leading the field. Brilliant pass by Nick Whitmer to going at the end of that straightaway with Greg Lilliafouche. The two BMWs, I know they're going to want to work together being the BMWs, but they're going to want to try to run the Pirelli P0 tires off that Audi RS3 LMS. Ultimately, last race we talked about that red flag really helping Paul Holton to help cool those tires. Of course, front-wheel drive car, you're asking that tire to do a lot of work on a front-wheel drive.
You know, a couple of the benefits today for that Audi is, one, an early caution, two, the simple fact that it's just not quite as warm. However, it's been sunny pretty much all day, which means that the track, even though it's not that dark pavement we see at some tracks, still just absorbs some heat. And it's going to be an interesting day here. But another caution, an opportunity. That red flag just stopped everybody yesterday and really let them cool off. But this one here, a little bit different story. Now, when we go back to green, once we get going, do they recreate the gaps between the touring cars, touring car A and touring car B?
They'll want to. They can gap themselves. But once the green flag comes out, it's green flag across the entire course. So when the TC leader enters that VP fuel acceleration zone and they go green, everybody goes green no matter what the gap is. The part that they're going to hate about is if you're a touring car and you're stuck somewhere in the TCA field and they create that gap, it's very frustrating. No passes under yellow. So I think we're early on enough here. We don't have any TC cars marked back there. They'll allow that gap.
Yeah, and obviously cars at the back of the touring car field might be struggling a little bit for whatever reason, and the fast touring car A guys don't want to get into them until things sort of settle and give a little bit of room, right?
Exactly. There's a good shot at number 52 Honda Civic, a Gloria Fernandez. Talking to her, and this has been about a 10-year ordeal here for her trying to get here to do her dream and Pirelli World Challenge from Puerto Rico. Has a Cyclone energy drink helping her out, and just great to see her here in Pirelli World Challenge competition.
Absolutely. We're going to pause. We'll be right back with our CBS Sports Call.
More. Got it.
Welcome back, everybody. We continue under caution here at Virginia International Raceway, part of the Nissan Pirelli World Challenge, Grand Prix of VIR, and hoping we'll be going back to green here in fairly short order, taking a look at our touring car A field. And there's a wonderful story in this one about 6 cars back in the queue. That white number 52, Gloria Fernandez, a long time building dream coming to fulfillment here this weekend.
She was also our Best Standing Start Award winner, picking that up. But, yeah, Glory from Puerto Rico, she's tried so hard to come into Pirelli World Challenge. Literally 10 years. This has been her dream. Does a lot of media in Puerto Rico, races touring cars there. Has Cyclone energy drinks helping her out. And actually, the best tasting energy drink I've ever had by far. Can't believe how great that was. But great to have her there. So.
Apparently that energy drink works because she picked up 10 spots on that opening lap. That's remarkable.
Yeah, she's getting up to speed here. Got into the 2:15s. The leaders are doing about 2:11s. But she's going to better those times each and every lap she gets here. Always learning about this brand new car for her as well. And I think we won't see this car again until Utah and then try to finish out at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. But she keeps having runs like that. She needs to get back at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park and Lime Rock Park coming up.
You bet she does. Just complete the season, obviously. As you can see, John Weisberg now on the hook and being towed in. And I would suspect they'll try and find someplace they can tuck him so he doesn't have to pull him around the entire lap here. And that's unfortunate. There's Jeff Rica and the Genesis Coupe on the back of the hook there as well.
Yeah, it looks like some contact there. There's damage to that left front. You see the fender and that body panel pushed back, and the wheels actually broke. So got to think there was some contact down there in Hogpen. So, we say that because there literally was a hog pen in that corner from when they resurrected this track in 1998.
Yeah, they've given it some fun names. There's no question, some of the corners here. And I love Madison Avenue, just that long run down that beautiful back straight. And this section is the first section of S's, and they refer to it as Snake, and you can see why. You're just sort of snaking through it. And as I understand it, Jeff, you are doing nothing except once you make turn 6, that leads into the Snake there, you're just building speed all the way up until you get to Oak Tree.
Yeah, you climb. They call it the climbing S's because you're really winding through there and going as quick and as fast as you can climbing up through there.
And just to give you an update on what's unfolding in the Touring Car B category, it is Kanan O'Connell who started, as we said, from the pole in that class after the win yesterday in the Tech Sport Racing Chevy Sonic. He leads it. Travis Wache is running in the second spot, up from 5th. So a great start by Travis in that Indian Summer Racing Mini Cooper. And then Jake Peipel in the It's a Honda Fit that he's running. That white number 6 had a good run yesterday and sits in 3rd today.
And David Daugherty's car, who ran that car before as well. So just the B-Spec, probably one of the funnest classes and the closest racing you will ever see. If you got a B-Spec car sitting around somewhere or get on the forums and find one for sale, you want to come out and do some Pirelli World Challenge, that's the easiest and cheapest way to get started in pro racing.
Yeah, and they just put on a fun show. And it's easy to follow them because, in all honesty, they're not going that fast in a straight line, but they are always running in bunches and no holds barred. It is so fun to watch.
Yeah, every driver that gets out of a TCB car has the biggest smile across the whole field out of having that. So a lot of good things here. Hopefully be going green here this next time by as they come down, like you said there, Greg, that Madison Avenue, the backstretch here. 172 miles an hour in our GT3 machines. We're seeing speeds about 150 in our touring car machines here at the end of that front straight.
Pretty remarkable. I think a few years ago when you got the chance to run a TCB car in one of these races and you had a pretty good run in it, I think that kind of stoked the fires again and got you back into racing now, didn't it?
It sure did. I get a chance to race my Nissan 370Z, so we're excited about that and having a good run there.
Good deal. Well, there's the front of the field. Again, Nick Whitmer in that beautiful ST Racing BMW, the M235i Racing. And into the VP Racing Fuels acceleration zone. And as you get into turn 17, into the hog pen corner, the rule is you can go. And Nick says, yep, I was in it. I'm gone. But a pretty good read by Greg Liafouge.
Yeah, I don't think Gregory was fooled there at all. But Paul Holton, the big gap there is the torques from these BMW able to accelerate away. Nick Whitmer about a 3-car length lead as they come for the green flag.
And that's it. It's kind of tough when you're just trying to read when that guy's going to go. And, boy, look at this move by Cody Ellsworth trying the outside here on Holton. And we saw that move work in some other races here this weekend. So it's possible. Can he keep the nose there? Give him the inside in this next one. He's there. Can he out-deep the Audi? He does it. Now, can Holton stay put? And no, can't quite get in. Holton, look at the over-under, though, Jeff, as Ellsworth floats out wide, and Holton stuffs the Audi in the inside into turn 4. Nicely done.
Yeah, great heads-up driving there because when you get into turn number 5, it's one lane. You can't go side-by-side through there, so if you can just stay there, you'll catch that guy. And a great recovery from Tony Rivera as he was being pressured there by the number 80 BMW of Anthony Maganoli.
Yeah, doing a nice job. Maganoli then chased by the 12 of Filippi in that multicolored car. Right there you see it, the BMW with orange on one side, green, blue. That is Mason Filippi. Then Girazzi, who, as we talked about, had that problematic start, was up on the front row on pole, but faded a little bit. Now he's trying to make a comeback drive, currently 8th.
Yeah, look at the battle of this lead overall in touring car. We saw this, though, at the beginning of race number 1 yesterday. The BMWs pulled out a great lead, but that Audi RS3 LMS able to run him down. But how about Travis Wache leading this field now? As you see, there is Justin Raphael trying to work his way back through the field as he got his car going again. But Jake Peipel in 2nd and Kanan O'Connell in 3rd in B-Spec.
Yeah, and Gronke not too far adrift of that group of 3 in the 2nd of the Tech Sport Racing Chevy Sonics as they work through. But Travis Wache, every time he shows up, he's a contender. He oftentimes can't make the full season, but when he's here, he's always a player.
Yeah, MiniUSA.com on that Mini Cooper now, and a lot of help for Travis Wache. Says, I'm in for the whole year and going to be a championship contender here, especially as we go to the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park round and then his home race at Lime Rock Park. Said he lived his racing dream. He always dreamed about racing and winning at Lime Rock in a pro race since he was dad first took him to Lime Rock, and he did it there in front of his home, his family, his wife, and his brand new baby.
Yeah, you got to love that. Running 4th right now is the 77 of Taylor Handwork, so he's right in the mix as well. Going back now to Touring Car A and following that just a little bit. And as always, these guys just really put on a superb show. Look at this. Down to the inside goes Fastnot.
Wow, you can see the power of that new Global MX-5 Cup car over the old Mazda MX-5. Eric Powell now seeing if he can get a heads-up move here, looking to the outside of Elevon Goulart, and he'll have the inside in turn number 3 if he can do that. But I think that's going to be Dean Copeland looking down on the inside, trying to see if he can make a pass as well.
Yeah, Copeland, I think, a little frustrated after yesterday. He had great speed, but wanted to do a lot better. And he did a little bump there. I think it was totally unintentional, though.
Yeah, Eric Powell was to the inside. Elevon Goulart had to check up there to not make contact with Eric Powell. But great stuff here in TCA.
Absolutely. Dean Copeland, 13th yesterday, but had top 5 speed for sure. He's on the charge. We have to step away for a moment. We'll be right back to VIR. I know, it's just fantastic here as we're watching this all unfold. That little bit of bump and go has given the top two just a little bit of a break, Fosnot and Powell, but then behind them, it is as close as it gets at this point. You got Goulart, you got Copeland, and you got Henderson, and a couple of those guys had a little bump and go yesterday that really kind of jumbled things up at the front here.
Yeah, these Global MX5 Cup cars were brand new yesterday and look a little worse for wear now. Yeah, there's going to have to be some body work done. You can see battling back there, Paul Whiting in the PWR Racing Honda Civic SI, and then right behind him, the number 155 at Jason Connolly. Connell, I believe. Jason Connolly. I don't want to call him Cannoli.
Yeah, Connolly, I believe.
But Connolly's doing a great job in his debut here in Pirelli World Challenge in that number 155 Mazda MX-5 Global Cup car.
And Goulart tried to make a move on Powell, and Tay just sweeping around the outside went Copeland. Beautiful move by Copeland, reading that to perfection. I can just tell you haven't had lunch. You're a little hungry, and it comes out as cannoli. I like that.
Ready for dessert, but
yeah,
you can see
all that battling is sure helping Fosnot.
And I really saw Elevon Goulart. This, I believe, really what won him that championship last year, being smart. He knew he didn't need to sit there and push for that third place, let Copeland go there as they entered down into Hogpen, and just uses the power in that SAC Racing car to go right back around Copeland, trying to battle for Eric Powell here for that second place.
Wow, he may have got him. That was a tremendous run that he got. Now, can he keep it pinched? Because if he doesn't, Copeland's going to sneak right back down underneath him, and Goulart reading that to perfection, Jeff, and exiting that turn right where he needed to keep everybody behind him. Now Powell down to the inside of Copeland. Ooh, that's close stuff. This is where we had that bump yesterday.
And Brian Henderson there on the outside of Eric Powell now doesn't want to, he's trying to, and back there in fifth, trying to move his way up to this field. Eric Powell second back to fourth in 3 corners.
And I think behind them at this point, you got Whiting and Connolly were absolutely side by side as well for a moment. Welcome back, everybody, and we have a battle royale really unfolding in the Touring Car A division. And at this point, Matt Fosnot has been able to take advantage of it. But in just a sequence of corners, number 70, Elevon Goulart, last year's champion, started second, had dropped back as far as fourth, and came right back up into second with a great move. Of course, when that kind of stuff happens and all that side-by-side in the corners, Jeff, it slows you down a little bit. Fosnot has now opened up just a bit of a margin.
Yeah, Eric Powell was running second. Elevon Goulart made the move on him. Eric Powell lost it over Dean Copeland in the turn 3 and 4 section. Almost lost it once again to Brian Henderson, but he was able to slot back into that 4th place. But Matthew Fosnot doing what he did yesterday, pulling away a little bit, and the battle's on against Elevon Goulart and Dean Copeland in that CMS new Mazda Global MX-5 Cup car.
It's going to be interesting to see here whether at this point Goulart and you talked about it, Goulart and Copeland, as they see Fosnot kind of easing away, and of course Powell decide to work together a little bit and run him down, then get back to racing again. These guys, last time we looked at it, that car that's leading was what, 4th? And now Caden O'Connell right back up into the lead. Love this class.
It's the way that happens there in TCB. You saw them coming through the S's. It was just like a snake. They were all in each other's trail completely, and that's how close B-Spec Racing is. It's Caden O'Connell, Travis Wache, Jake Peipel, and now Taylor Handwork. I got my final thing, and got a chance to meet that young man yesterday. I called him Tyler all day yesterday, so I apologize about that. But Taylor Handwork doing a great job there in that Mini in Ford.
I'm wondering, I'm watching just the last comment about TCB here. So you're seeing PJ Gronke has fallen back just a little bit. You hate to lose the draft, but I wonder if he was so concerned because he really used those tires up yesterday. If he's just saying, I don't want to go that hard right now, and hopefully they'll come back to me. Up front, Nick Whitmer, hard going is how he drives. He just loves to go after it. And right now, Greg Leafouche continues to shadow him, but has not figured out a way to be able to get back around him.
And Greg's been a busy man here, running in the Sprint X category as well, so doing double duty. 4 races for him this weekend, and that track time will pay off. I gotta believe that. But I see Nick Whitmer using a bunch of the curbs.
Yep.
He's getting, like we see that he's using like when he drove that Honda Accord, kind of sliding around over where, getting that car loose. And Greg Leafouche hitting his marks nice and smooth. But the fast man's going to be Paul Holton, purple sector 1 and 2.
Absolutely, and he already has the best lap of the race at a 2-minute 2.262. So, and this is about what happened yesterday. Holden, was back there a little bit, and then that car just started to really come in. And even in a short 40-minute race, sometimes you can get the car where it may not be right there, right at the off. And as you talk about, Jeff, when you got a front-wheel drive car and those fronts are doing so much, you may need to start them on a slightly lower tire pressure, I would think, because they can overheat, overinflate, and then the handling goes off. And these guys clearly at C360R have figured this car out.
Yeah, and get support there from FAF as well. If you're up in Canada and want to see this car up close, you can go to the FAF Audi dealership and check this car out right after this race. They'll get it cleaned up, put it back in the dealership on display. Pretty neat there as he gets around Jasper Drangler in that Honda Fit. And that was the car that we had. Jasper's been racing all season long last year, coming back for his second season. Had that car in its roof a couple times, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's a pretty cool deal with Holton and how that car goes into the FAF dealership and goes on display. Carl Thompson, he said my only caveat with them was that it's trenched off and nobody gets to go near it. He said, because we have to have it, and we have to have it pristine to go racing so that Paul Holton can give it this kind of a ride. It's going to be interesting here as they're coming up now. The leaders on the back of PJ Gronke in the Touring Car B, and PJ, I think he purposely just ran a little wide there and gave them the opportunity without costing himself too much exit speed.
Now we'll have to see if both of our leaders can get past our leaders here in TCB before the braking zone. I don't believe they're going to do it. That's going to happen here with traffic as Nick Whitmer might get held up here by some of the TCB leaders. They're going to split the TCB leaders as well.
And these TCB guys are side by side, but Whitmer having none of that, and he's going to get them all.
Yeah, perfect by Nick Whitmer. What strategy that was by just pushing that braking zone and trapping Kanan O'Connell in between himself and Gregory Leafouge.
Yeah, now Kanan just tightens up the exit a little bit in that car. He can run a tighter line anyway without problem, so Leafouge gets through. However, the damage already done, wasn't it?
Yeah, same with Paul Holton there, as he's going to get hung up there, trying to get past second place and first place in TCB. No problem on the straightaway, as Greg would always say, how it handles great on the straightaway.
Exactly. That's cool. And look at Pipeball now right there. And I think he senses an opportunity. If the two of them can get far enough ahead of Travis Wache that they break that bit of a draft, they may be down to settling this mano-a-mano, and that's exactly what you want. Oh, and Felipe is a couple of cars are off. Felipe, one of them.
Is that the number 80?
I believe it is. Magnoli?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Magnoli, they're having a problem with Mason Felipe, that number 80. BMW versus the number 12, so problems there for those two guys down there in turn one. And see a yellow flag over there in turn number 3 too. Not sure what's going on over there, but definitely action all through that section there, turn 2, 3, and 4.
Absolutely. And I'm not so sure that there was any contact with that. I wonder if it was almost target fixation, that he was racing him, and when Felipe went off, Magnoli just followed him right off the track, and that happens sometimes.
Yeah, you look through that, you're looking at the car, paying attention, when's he going to hit the brake, then you miss your braking point. Great, what do I do now?
There is Paul Holton, and boy, he had to overcome a lot to get that win yesterday. During the red flag, it was so hot and humid, and suffered basically heat exhaustion yesterday, and couldn't even make it in the victory circle. Had to go get hydrated, but he had enough left in the tank, the personal tank, to be able to bring that car through to a win. Can he do it again? Well, we've got about 17 minutes left here in round 2 of the Pirelli World Challenge Touring Car Championship season openers. We'll be right back.
Awesome. I'm going to give, just like we said, awesome racing here for the World Challenge.
Phenomenal.
Thank you to all of us joining on the live stream, sort of pitching in here as we create our CBS Sports Network TV show for the touring car division here at VIR. Kind of a behind the scenes, you get to see that. And you can really hear the car. It's got a scrape there from Nick Whitmer hitting that bump as you come down onto the straightaway. The cars bottom out a lot through there. There's all kinds of scrape cars. Really slams you into the seat, and if you hit it right, it sort of launches you down the straightaway. It's kind of what I feel when we're in race cars here. But that GPI teaming up with Samantha Tan here this season, she's doing a great run.
Yeah.
The number 38, the 2 of the cars, so she's in the time charge running 23rd overall in the TC class.
Absolutely. That last lap, when we saw Leafouge get hung out a little bit in the traffic, he lost 1.1 seconds relative to Whitmer. Now this last lap, Leafouge just ran a lap 4/10 quicker than Whitmer, so he's trying not to waste any time, trying to come up through the field. And again, though, oh, nice job. That was class by the number 40. Just got way out of the way, let that group just slide through. You appreciate it like that. Of course, Steve Coley's been struggling to let it. Woo!
I don't know why
Holton doing a little
I don't know
off-road
why
there?
he went off-road, because Coley was giving him plenty of room there.
Yeah, exactly.
As Cody Ellsworth now has a run as he comes up to the S's here underneath that Nissan VIR bridge.
Yeah, Holton, his quick lap, but that's brought Cody Ellsworth right back onto the back of Holton, that little off-course excursion, breathing life into that car.
Yeah, I thought maybe Holton might have reacted that he was coming back around, but really he was just making the corner and still giving him enough room. One of those better be safe than sorry, but running it right off course is Nick Whitmer, using every inch of pavement there on the exit coming onto this backstretch. We saw Randy Hale's Mazda MX-5 pulled off. You'll see him in the shot here, just driver's left, out of the race for Randy Hale, unfortunately.
Welcome back, everybody. Our lead duo overall in a touring car getting a little bit of a break in traffic, and they have now found themselves with a big margin back into third. Nick Whitmer in that blue and yellow ST Racing BMW M235i racing machine, and behind him also a BMW M235IR. This one in the hands of a very, very talented driver, the number 20 of Greg Leafouge.
Doing a great job battling for the lead as we go back to our touring car leader, Matthew Fosnot, doing a great job still from SAC Racing, but it's Dean Copeland in second, and now Brian, I believe Patterson, or Henderson, sorry,
yeah.
Brian up to third place, doing a great job. There's Elevon Goulart and Eric Powell dropping all the way back to fifth.
You got to think that was some traffic, coming through some of those other cars on the track, and once you lose your momentum, then you can lose touch with the car in front of you, and it's very hard to make it back up again.
Yeah, so it's this brand new Mazda Global MX-5 Cup Car platform, 1, 2, 3 in TCA. Now, Matthew Fosnot's done a lot of work in the off seasons to go through and see and study and do some track days, and brought in a coach, Justin Piscatel, doing coaching with that. And during the test session here on Thursday, they actually drove both cars back to back to determine which car was going to be better and a better fit for Matthew Fosnot. I think they chose the right one, getting that win yesterday, his first Pirelli World Challenge victory.
Yeah, it sure looks like it. He is giving it a significant run here right now, and a nice job. And the interesting thing, I believe it was Copeland just got parked. Now he's letting that touring car, B category car, know, hey, we're here, we're coming through. But opportunity maybe for Henderson. And I believe it was Henderson and Copeland that had that side-by-side yesterday. And so I'm not sure there's a lot of level off.
Yeah, they both spun off through turn number 4 there yesterday, and they're actually running, I believe, under the same tent.
They are,
as well, with both Copeland cars. Made that contact yesterday. Oh, no, it's Samantha Tan and the number 36 BMW of Cheaton Pernick in that Zima Motorsports car. And that Zima Motorsports, the teammate car to him, had a big accident there yesterday. That's on the exit of turn number 2.
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, somebody tried to move, and it's so tough to do it because it just keeps tightening up. And if you don't get a lot of help around that section of the track, it's not going to go well.
Now, Andrew Range, you see the hood popping up on his onto the cord back there, fluttering as he's coming through our TCB leaders, trying to follow through Gino Carini. And there's a little bit of a car switch in the classic BMW stable there as Gino Carini stepping into, I believe, Toby Grahovic's car that he campaigned last year, that season championship. And then Toby Grahovic going back to a different car, but Toby, unfortunately, not able, I believe, even take the green flag.
Yeah,
still problems existing in that classic BMW.
Well, I'll tell you, for a defending champion, that is tough.
Well, heavy damage
That's
to
Whitmer.
the right side of Nick Whitmer's car.
That's the 91 of Whitmer. Oh, boy.
I've got to believe he rolled a little bit. That looks like there was damage to the roof there, so not sure if ever.
Full course caution. And Nick Whitmer, boy, I'll tell you, he and Leafouge were on their own and setting sail, and something has gone wrong big here at Virginia International Raceway. We're under full course caution, and we'll be right back. Best news of all, Nick climbs out of the car. Well, and here's a look at what happened to Nick Whitmer in that ST Racing BMW, and wow, that was a big one.
Yeah, glad. And then the trick there is that you see him get out of that car under his own power, and just devastating as he was leading this race to have that incident happen.
Yeah, and you could see the frustration once he got out of the car and over to the barriers. That is not a happy man.
No, not at all. You see That's going to put Greg Leafouge P1, and then Paul Holton. We talked about it before, having that front-wheel drive Audi RS3 LMS. This is only going to help him. And Cody Ellsworth now is going to move up to third place. Gerasi, your pole sitter, he's going up to first. And great run here by Stefan Sajek into fifth. Actually got that car rebuilt a little bit out of the Zima Motorsports stable.
Yeah, he really is having a strong run. Ended up 10th yesterday. So putting together a good run here. Nimkov sits 6. Ari Belo, who's another of those guys who's been busy this weekend, up into the 7th spot. Cameron Majari up into 8th. Ricardo Sales in 9th. And JT Kupal in the 009 sits in the 10th spot. In A, touring car A, it's the 74 of Fasnacht, the 07 of Copeland, the 97 of Henderson, the 70 of Goulart, and the 23 of Powell. That's your top 5. And in touring car B, it's the number 30. That is the Indian Summer Racing Mini of Travis Wache. Jake Pifall now up into 2nd, sneaking around the number 24 Chevy Sonic of O'Connell. Then Handwerk and Gronke. And if Gronke was laying back a little bit and trying to save tires and inadvertently ended up losing touch with the group, I would suggest, Jeff, that when we go racing, he might be in pretty good shape with his tires to go after him.
Yeah, that's one of those things. We'll see how it plays out if whoever took care of their tires a little bit better here in those Pirelli World Challenge. We see the ambulance over there. I'm not sure if there's another car involved here or something a little bit over, but you can see the skid marks there as he went right in there, and it looks like John Allen had an incident as well as they go down the end of the straightaway here.
Yeah, it's the 007. That's an unfortunate scenario here. He had a problem yesterday as well, so a tough weekend for those guys. The Berg Racing Audi R3 LMS, one of the 4 entered here this weekend.
See our Cadillac Escalade medical car there on scene where Nick Whitmer is.
It's always an automatic response. Anytime you have any kind of a hard hit, obviously, you always will send a vehicle just to make sure that the driver's okay. We continue under yellow here at Virginia International Raceway as part of the Nissan Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix at VIR. And while we were in break, we discovered that there was another car that could have potentially been involved with Nick Whitmer, and that's the 007 of John Allen, one of the new Audis running for Berg Racing. Both of them off track in the same area, Jeff. So we'll have to, it's pure speculation at this point, but it makes you wonder.
Yeah, when you take a look at the onboards, look like there definitely was contact there, and seeing those incidents there, it's just lap traffic. Sometimes that happens, and we'll see what plays out here with our leaders in our touring cars. They have Gloria Fernandez in a number 52 Honda Civic, and then right behind her in the TCA category is Kevin Anderson, the team leader at Tech Sport Racing in that brand new Toyota Scion FRS. With Anderson there developing that new platform here in the TCA category. Let's Michael Johnson and Eric Powell in those Mazda MX-5s as part of that team. And then the 2 Chevy Sonics of Kanan O'Connell and PJ Gronke. So 5-car strong hill for that Tech Sport Racing team.
Yeah, it's impressive stuff. We've seen a number of the teams just really expand their entries. That's part of what we were talking about at the top of the show. The manufacturer's support for some of these teams is allowing them to do a little bit more. Berg Racing expanding with the Audis, and a number of teams are really blowing up just a little bit here, in a good sense, when I say that. Now, here's the deal. We've got 6.5 minutes remaining, and it's all going to come down to how quickly they can get those that double car incident cleared up there over in the roller coaster area of the track. And the Cadillac ATS VR looks like it's slowing them down just a little bit, just trying to get an opportunity to get as much racing going. Here's the number 36 that is off as well. Problem there. That's, as you mentioned earlier, Chitan Paranik in the Zima Motorsports BMWs just had a troubled weekend.
Yeah, he really did. And that was the problem that we saw a little bit earlier there on the exit of turn number 2 where the couple cars got together. I believe that second one was that Maganoli there in the number 80. Did you see John Allen's Audi RS3 LMS on the tow hook going back through? That'll head back over to Berg Racing, and the team will get that ready for Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, brand new car. And you see the damage there to the right front of his Audi, and not a lot of parts for this car here in America yet. The Club Sport version of this, and we'll have to see if they can get the parts fixed in time. 3 weeks, and we head up to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park for round 3 and 4 of our touring car classes.
They did a big unveil of the GT4 one as well here. Audi, a big presence here this weekend.
Very big presence. We have a big activation center up and did the global unveil of the Audi R8 LMS GT4 as well over there on display. Did some great tech talks with Brad Kettler, the Director of Operations from Audi Sport Customer Support Racing, and then Tristan Herbert there talking about the car and what really fills the gap now between the Club Sport RS3 LMS. Now we have the Audi R8 LMS GT4, and then ultimately up to the RS8. The R8 GT3.
Absolutely, which is just a wicked machine. But this is interesting here. We've talked about it. You got, 15 BMW M235i racing. You've got 4 Audis. You got a huge number of other cars. But the top 3 right now, 3 different manufacturers. That tells you that it's fairly well balanced. BMW, Audi, Porsche.
Yeah, it really is. And you look at everybody talks about BOP and balanced performance. When you have a field this tight and you're balancing, 34 touring cars that took the green flag here today, and then now we have 3 different manufacturers in the top 3 battling out. And don't count out that little Lotus of Cameron McGerry there, that Lotus Exceed from Crewdspeak, doing a good job there, back in 12th place. His good run for him.
Oh, we're getting a report that we may have an early throw of the checkers. We're trying to confirm that for you, but again, that was a couple of significant incidents, and it may just be impossible to get it cleaned up by the time racing ends, and it is. The checker is out. So, wow, what a huge development here. And for Greg Liafouge, ends up with a win and a second in his 2 races here to start off the 2017 season. You hate to see it finish under caution. But we say it again, if there's significant damage to guardrails or the like, you cannot go racing with those not being safe. And the officials, they're pretty on top of it. That Escalade safety response vehicle on the scene evaluating the situation, and apparently they said it's just not going to happen. So we're done. Liafouge, Holton, and Ellsworth complete the podium overall, and in touring cars, Touring Car A, Fosnot doubles up. What a start to the season for Matt Fosnot.
Yeah, does a great job in that brand new Global MX-5 Cup car out of SAC Racing. Congratulations to him.
And Travis Wache is going to end up with a win over Jake Peipel. Jake had a good run here this weekend. He ends up with a second and a third, with Kanan O'Connell a win and a third. They're going to be very close in the points as well. And, you hate that you didn't get to see those Touring Car Bs and those Touring Car As go after it here after the caution, but that happens sometimes. So we're going to pause. When we come back, we will hear from our winner.
We got 93% of the race pace completed, so I guess that counts.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to have to Weisberg got going again. Oh. We're still here live on the internet at world-challenge.com and motortrendondemand.com. As you saw John Weisberg having his problems a little bit earlier in that Redcom SLS Berg Racing Mazda MX-5. But there's your TCB winner, Travis Wache, in the Indian Summer Racing Mini Cooper. Jake Peipel finishes in second place, and Kanan O'Connell third. 2 podiums for Kanan O'Connell here in that. And Matthew Fosnot earns his first win yesterday, gets it here again today. Double race victory for that driver in that SAC Racing. And then second place, wow, Dean Copeland there, that number 07, after a devastating race for him yesterday in the CMS Motorsports Mazda Global Cup MX-5 Cup. And then third place going to Brian Henderson. Great job for him as well. It's going to be Copeland Racing second and third. Cody Ellsworth getting third place in our touring car category, so congratulations to him. Paul Holton, got to think he's probably a little bit cooler here today, and ends up getting second place. But it is Gregory Liafouge, who's doing a lot of racing also in BMWs all around the world. Believe he was doing the Nürburgring VDAC races. He's done a few of those as well, the VLNs over there. So he's got his shoe there behind BMW, and competed with him there at the 25-hour at Thunder Hill. So got to see the experience of that driver here as we come around checkered flag, come down pit lane, and waiting on Kirk Hansen's to interview all of our winners here.
Welcome back, everybody, as our touring car field makes its way down into pit lane after an early checker flag is thrown after the incident up in the roller coaster here at Virginia International Raceway. And this Nissan Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix at VIR has been an interesting weekend, and certainly our touring car races have proven to be very entertaining. And I'll tell you what, Greg Liafouche has just been superb this weekend, and we're looking forward to hearing from him. And, of course, he is making his way down to Kurt Hansen, who is standing by here. And as soon as Greg gets out of that beautiful BMW, we'll be able to hear from our, a win and a second yesterday. Pretty impressive start.
Very good start to this championship. Of course, Steve Cameron Racing, we've seen them in the GT, the GTA category with Drew Riggets running, expands this now. I believe he's got 3 or 4 cars competing here this weekend, so good stuff from Steve Cameron Racing. Second place, once again, to Paul Holton, and Cody Ellsworth getting that 3rd place in that Racer Inc. Porsche Cayman.
Yes, I see Cody able to show what he was capable of without that inadvertent cut tire, obviously. All right, as soon as that helmet comes off, we're going to send it down to Kurt and hear from our winner, Greg Liafouche.
Greg, let me get you over here. Terrific drive. Greg Liafouche out of the Bay Area. Talk to us about that spectacular drive today.
I feel bad for Nick. He definitely had a fast car. He came up on the lap car. He did a move that I felt was probably pretty reasonable at that point, but it didn't work out for him. So it's too bad to finish like this, but we'll take the points. Super happy for the Cameron Racing guys. They gave me a great car and Prime energy drinks as well. So thanks.
Good stuff.
That it was, and boy, he was in the driver's seat, obviously, for that incident with Nick Whitmer, and kind of explained it a little bit. And traffic, that's the thing, multi-class racing, that's all part of the equation here, and this time it worked out in Greg Liafouche's favor. So good way to start the season, and boy, for Stephen Cameron Racing, this is all pretty impressive stuff, no question about that. And, of course, Paul Holton second, so he also ends up on the weekend with a first and a second, so dead even in the points at this stage. So pretty impressive stuff we've been watching.
It really was. Battling all throughout our field. There was so many we couldn't really cover it here, but...
And as you look at those points here, you can see it's going to be extremely close. And that's how you want it to start the season off. And obviously we've been talking about the great battle with the manufacturers. Well, they're in a points championship as well, and it's going to be close as well. And it's going to be great fun. Now, let's get down to your winner in Touring Car A. And this is an even bigger celebration, a sweep of the weekend, Kurt.
Get that thing off. We want to talk to you for a second here. Come on. Show us your beautiful face. Nick Fasnot, nice drive. A little celebration going on right here, huh? Oh, yeah. Come on. Let's get that stilo off. I got it. Get you your, let's get that hat on you, my man. A lot cooler than yesterday, but talk to us. That's a great drive.
Thank you so much. I got to tell you, this new Mazda MX-5 is really fun to drive. And they got the right tire, the right Pirelli tire for this car, and it hooked up really well. SAC did a fantastic job setting the car up, as they always do. And through the winter into the spring, I just told myself, you're getting there, you're getting there. It's confidence, working out, getting ready, and it all paid off so far. So, fun day.
Yeah, fun day. They look great. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's a very good point, isn't it? For a driver, you're never going to be quick until you're confident, and you build that up and get to the right point. And then you have a team that gives you a car that feeds that confidence. It's magic.
I got to think that was the team. Of course, Ademir Fudamenti there with the SAC Racing team gives that driver that confidence as we take a close look here at the driver points in TCA, and it's going to be tight. One of the closest battles I think that we'll see as the results here and how tight this field really was.
Yeah, just absolutely bottled up here. And, of course, some of it obviously for the caution. But I think we're going to see this kind of battling all season long. As you take a look at those results, it's just going to be exceptional.
Yeah, it really will be. And a lot of good names there that we'll see battling all season long in TCA.
And, of course, Matt Fasnot, as we take a look at our TCA drivers' points, is going to have the lead in there. But I think we're going to see some fluctuating throughout the season. It's going to be really fun. And, Jeff, the touring car manufacturer points right now for Touring Car A, Mazda.
Yeah, got to be on top there with all the MX-5s and the global cars that are on there.
All right, and now Kurt is ready with our winner in the Touring Car B division, and that is Travis Washay. It's Indian Summer here at VIR.
Indian Summer here at VIR. Travis, great drive. Talk to us about that Mini Cooper.
You know, she's an older girl, but she works well. We got a sponsor from eEuroparts.com this year and helped us really freshen the car up. The wife and my baby boys have been like real supportive. My crew chief Nick Jacobs been amazing. Michelle Yazer, my team manager, everybody's been working so hard. I love the new drivers. O'Connell's kid's amazing. Jake Pipple, what a gas to drive with. I'm looking so forward to the rest of the season. Absolutely love it.
You're not very excited, are you?
I am. It was, wow, that last lap was, all that carnage happened around us in the last lap. So we're just glad to come out of it mostly unscathed and look forward to the next one. So thanks much.
Congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I mean, what a run that he put on here. I mean, he was so close to it yesterday, and then it all comes good today.
Well, they say the first one's the hardest, and now he's got two, so he's on a good winning streak. I think we'll see a lot from him, especially competing all season long now.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question of that. That's just great to hear that news that he's going to be around. Such a great addition to the championship in the past whenever he's shown up. So good stuff indeed. And you take a look at the points in Touring Car B for the drivers. And once again, with that, Kanan O'Connell struggling a little bit in this race, and Wache very close.
Yeah, and that's how the competition is in TCB. Points will be the same way.
All right, folks, here on our global webcast, we are so happy that you were able to join us here for what was I think, a very exciting, eventful, entertaining weekend here at the Nissan Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix at VIR. What a return after 7 years to this glorious racetrack. And don't forget, folks, the next round of the championship, another heart-in-the-throat type of racetrack up north of the border just outside of Toronto, Canada, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. That is about as high-speed intensity as it gets. Make sure and follow us live on the web and, of course, all of our coverage on CBS Sports Network for all of the races as the season unfolds. For Jeff, for Kurt, I'm Greg Kramer. Thank you so much for joining us, and a big thanks to everybody for the production here of this coverage. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.